Hi Scholarites, I hope you're doing great. This is Anirudh back with another video. In the last video, we discussed about if-else statement, which was one of the feature in JavaScript. We understood how a if-else statement could be used to formulate conditions in JavaScript. Similarly, we are going to discuss on another feature of JavaScript, that is the switch statement. So what is a switch statement? When we talk about switch statement, we'll have to understand what we discussed in the if-else statement. In the if-else statement, we had an if block, which if at all was true, the code within the if block would get triggered. And if the if statement was incorrect, then anything within the else block would get triggered. So now similarly, using the same functionality, a switch statement is also developed. So what is the difference between if-else statement and switch statement? There is more cleaner way of writing code if you consider switch statement. So if you get into real life programming, you would see more often a switch statement being used where there are multiple scenarios or cases that need to be covered. So I have a small example scenario here which will help us to understand what a switch statement is. We will use this scenario and write a switch statement to understand how we can write multiple cases within switch statement and how it is different in terms of if-else statement. We will also understand what the structural differences are in the switch statement. Similar to if-else statement, we have switch statement, and I have a scenario which we will have to code right now. The scenario has three cases. The first case is a vacation, the second case is a party, and third case is coding. Assume that you are one of the user who tries to get into one of these scenarios. So if at all you are a party scenario user, we have a certain output that is being designated to the scenario for party, and similarly for other scenarios we have certain outputs or console log set up. So we'll try to add this within a switch statement and let's see what the output is going to be. So first let me create a scenario. Let me write it as party. Then I'm going to define switch, which is one of the keywords in JavaScript. I am passing the scenario as the parameter in switch with the brackets. I'm opening and closing the switch. This is how the switch needs to be written. As I said, that switch has multiple cases. In this example, there are three cases. So let us write one by one all these cases and let's see how we can see the output for each scenario. So I am writing case 1, which is the vacation case. I'm writing a console log. I'm mentioning something within the console log which denotes that if at all the vacation scenario gets triggered, this console log is going to get printed. So when we add a break to one of the cases in the switch statement, we want this switch statement to stop and exit the switch flow. So similarly, we'll add another case. So I'm mentioning case as party. If at all the entered scenario is party, I'm writing a console log to differentiate it's a party scenario. And I'm breaking this case because if at all the scenario is matched with party, I don't want to execute other cases. So I have another scenario or case in mind, which is coding. For the coding case, I'm writing another console log and I'm following it with a break statement so that if coding case is matched within the switch statement, we will exit the switch statement. I'm also writing a default case. Default case is written if at all any of the scenarios do not match, then we need a specific scenario to capture that. So default case is a scenario within the switch statement. It is also one of the cases which executes if none of the cases match the scenarios in the switch statement. I'm writing a console log here. So we are done with our three scenarios. We have written a switch statement. We have written three cases for the switch statement followed by a break to end the switch statement at a particular case if it's found. We have also written a default case. If none of the scenarios match, we are ready with a default case. So let us go ahead and run this. I'm going to the terminal. Let's use the node engine and run the file index.js. You can see that its output, it's party time. Get ready to dance and have a blast. That is because we have entered the scenario party. So what happens if we change the scenario to vacation? Now I have changed the scenario to vacation. I'm rerunning the file and you can see that vacation console log is triggered because the scenario here is vacation and it is matching one of the cases. Similarly, if we do not have any switch statement scenario, so let me pass an empty scenario and rerun the function. In this case, it is running the default case within the switch statement. This is basically how a switch statement is written, how multiple cases within switch statement are written, how defaults are written, how break is added to multiple scenarios within the cases of switch statement. So this is a much more modular method of using cases and switch statements when compared to if-else statement or if blocks. When you talk about real world examples, if at all you have multiple scenarios which need to be addressed, we can go ahead with switch statement. It is much more modular when compared to if else statement or if blocks. So using switch statement can help us cover most of the scenarios that you're trying to address. We will see this in real world examples going ahead. So this is just an overview of what switch statements are, how cases are triggered in switch statement, and how you can use them. Thank you. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel Scholarize. I'll try my best to put up videos on JavaScript and programming languages going ahead. Have a great day.